Yeah. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kahaloyim Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well. Salutations to the Akim and the four winds, preaching the truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, Shalom to you Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sister, you Akwaf, listen and learning under your husband or your spiritual leader, and have come back to the fold. The Akwathium, listen and learning in silence. This your brother Ram Yahweh with the lesson. And it says this is so-called politics, right? This is Los Angeles Times. It's about these politics. Clinton champion lawyer, campaign lawyer, selected campaign lawyer, acquitted of lying to the FBI, right? So-called, right? It says a lawyer for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign was acquitted Tuesday of lying to the FBI when he pushed information meant to cast suspicion on Donald Trump and Russia in the run up to the 2016 election, which I'm not going to take too much time on this, but this just goes into their, they basically cause themselves to be not guilty, man, because we know that Hillary Clinton is who she's linked to, right? Her husband Bill Clinton is really actually a Rothschild, right? Right, actually goes back to Rockefeller, but the Rockefellers go back to the Rothschilds. So they got that kind of power. That's why they can be caught up in so-called child, name mentioned around child sex rings, like the Pizzagate, and then nothing happens to them, right? They could be caught up in all sorts of stuff, and all of a sudden the emails are deleted and all these other different things, right? 64 and 1, to the chief musician, a psalm, which basically means a song of David, right? So this is King David. Hear my voice, O Yahweh, or power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. So, King David couldn't be part of ISUPK because they said no cowards, right? And it proves that we are afraid, because this devil got a lot of also power. They could be acquitted in all these different courts, and they got all these military power and drones and all these different things. But the thing that we do have is that prayer, right? So he said, hear my voice, O Yahweh, power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel. And really, ultimately, that's what they have, right? Because secretly, Clinton is really a Rothschild, right? And all of them actually go back to the King of England, right? Counsel of the wicked, right? And the Lord said, what? The earth, earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? So if the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, that wicked has a certain amount of power that you very well might be afraid of, right? But you want the Lord to preserve you, right? So you could prophesy, so some of you shall not taste death, right? In these last days. From insurrection of the works of iniquity, right? Because that's ultimately what's going to happen, right? Insurrection of people, right? Because what there's going to be between all these different things, what they're really setting up is people to well, you see the people who went down to the White House, the so-called Trump supporters that they got led to as a flock to the slaughter, right? And you got these insurrections, right? Because the people are mourning, right? Yeah, this is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, right? And, there's not people rejoicing all around the world. The people are mourning around the world and in the so-called richest country in the world, you know what I mean? The so-called best country in the world, people are mourning. And you're going to mourn more because what? Those famines are going to hit hard, right? Because of their secret counsel. Ultimately, they're bringing in that famine, Everybody knows that all of a sudden, food places that's been around for hundreds of years, and then a lot of these places catch fire in the same day. So it doesn't even make sense. Or they're catching fire within the same months or within the same type of pattern, with months and weeks apart from each other. So that secret counsel, man, and they can set up all sorts of different things. It says when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, right, and that's what's happening. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. When the wicked beareth rule, the people are mourning, right? And the whole earth, the world is mourning, right? Skip down to 7. It says, the righteous considereth the cause of the poor, right? So, because we were in there, we've been in those poor conditions, and we've seen how, how pitiful it is, and how, we have that what is it called? Meekness. We have that meekness about us. So we care about the poor. We care about how people feel and how they're going through certain things. You know what I mean? Even when the wicked are, and when the wicked are going to be into slavery under us, they're going to be in a better condition. The whole world's going to be in a better condition under us, even when they're in slavery. But then they're going to always be in slavery, right? After their 1,000 years, they're going to get their own land, and they're going to have better food. They're going to have better water. They're going to have way better conditions, right? So, but yeah. But it says, the righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. They don't even want to. They want to pretend like they don't even know. Yeah, they don't even. It's almost like it don't exist. You know what I mean? Scornful men bring a city into snares. And ultimately, that's what their plans is to do, is to actually bring the city into snares. And that's really what it's coming down to. But wise men turn away wrath. Right? You're supposed to turn away the wrath. But the whole thing is, they're not righteous, man. And they're wise. They're not wise. The wisdom, or the wise men of Teman is losing their wisdom. Right? Their crafty counsel is it's witchcraft. That's it. That's their wisdom, is lies. So this is Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them. Matter of fact, let's go into this. Thus saith Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughtered. Right? So we're trying to feed you with knowledge, warning about the wicked who's ruling the earth, who have transformed himself into an angel of light. And you people think that Cesare Borgia, or the so-called white man, you just think, oh, there's bad people. There's bad people in everybody. But no, there's a nation of people that's inherently the wicked, man. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. And that wicked happens to be a nation, right? And that nation of people have all been president. And then they even told you, every president is related. Every single president is related. So that means this is that family. This is that people, that nation of people, that wicked nation, right? Whose possessors slay them, right? Because ultimately you're just going to be slayed by the police, by these martial law troops when it come. But she can go to court, her lawyer can go to court and say she didn't lie to the FBI, right? And then be not guilty, acquitted. But we know you lied. Everybody know you lied. It doesn't make sense. Of course you lied. I mean, who possess or slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And that's ultimately what you did. Because why? Your husband, Bill Clinton, actually is a Rockefeller. And the Rockefellers are actually Rothschilds. Right? And you Rothschilds are actually Edomites. Right? So you Edomites are declaring yourselves not guilty. And what? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, or God, Lord. Or they might just say Jehovah. Or they might just say Satan, because, they know who they praise. For I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not, right? Because you got these so-called false leaders, whether if you're so-called Mexican, so-called Native American, so-called black. We all have these false leaders that was set up by the government. You know what I mean? Paid by the wicked. Yeah, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world, right? All the whole world in the Orchomenic sense, and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, right? And that's basically what's happening around the world, right? Because the Lord said he's bringing division. He's not bringing everyone together. It's going to be division, right? And swords in their hands, right? And the modern day sword is the gun, right? And their drones, their missiles, their tanks, their submarines, right? Whatever you can get your hands on in that day, right? In order to kill, right? Because of what? For there shall be sedition, which basically like insurrections, right? It's basically the same thing among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their action shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's ultimately what's going down with this. Why they're able to go to court, lie on the highest stage, and be acquitted, right? Or basically be found not guilty, which is another way of saying not guilty, right? So for because of the pride of the cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid. So even men are going to be afraid, right? In that day. And that's ultimately what all this thing is leading up to, why these people can, basically cause a bunch of controversy, because all that stuff was all stage theater. They're all this is all just, a way to manipulate, control, because they knew that they were going to get away. It says, I will not spare them. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, right? Because what? The Most High is that ultimate power, man. Right? Defile not my temple, right? And ultimately, this is what these elites set you up for. They're the wicked. They put snares in the city, right? The insurrection, right, was nothing but snares in the city. Why? They're so-called constantly always making it through the snares, but it's set up for them to make it through the snares. You know what I mean? For the Lord Yahweh knoweth all of them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. And ultimately, that's what's going to happen unto America, is death and destruction. For now are the whole world, right? Well, let's go into that. Now are the whole world, the plagues are come upon. Now the plagues are come upon the whole world. Hey, and ultimately through all these things, because that was the 2016 election. Trump was in office, and all of a sudden, the plagues were upon the whole world, right? Right? The whole earth, right? Or the whole earth, right? Yeah, there were plagues upon the whole earth, right? And ye shall remain in them for power, or Yahweh shall not deliver you from, because ye have sinned against him. And a lot of you so-called black, Hispanic, and you believe in these politics while they're phony and they're declaring themselves not guilty. And you will speak valid and and with vigor about yeah, he gotta quit it, and see, and that's why nothing happened. No, you don't understand. This whole thing is all a setup. It's all a stage. It's all BS, man. All those people are related. Trump has to be related to them some type of way for him to be president, right? Every president has been related. So every president that's ever been, like I said, Trump will have to be related to him too. So this is all charades, man. Ultimately, they're going to court, calling themselves not guilty. All this thing is just charade. They're playing a game. They're all actors, man. So they're all related to this dude John Lackland, right? And was it 1166? The King of England, 1199 through the 1216. It looked like. So every president is related to this guy right here from England, and it's all set up. It's all charades. They're all related, man. So,
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, William Howard Taft, and President Barack Obama. One young girl traced them all back to one common ancestor.
They're all cousins and all grandsons of John Lackland.
It's the first family tree of its kind, pouring through more than 500,000 names for months. 12-year-old Bridge Ann d'Avignon discovered that all the U.S. presidents, except Martin Van Buren, are related to the former King of England, John Lackland Plantagenet, signer of the Magna Carta in 1215.
Mildred Reed is his first great-grandmother on George Washington. And on Obama, Mildred Reed is the 10th great-grandmother.
It started as an assignment to research her own lineage, tracing it back to roots.
Right. So, at the end of the day, this whole court case is all charades. They all go back to the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs, the DuPonts, back to the so-called John Lackland, back to the so-called King of England, and all this thing is charades. They're all Edomites and death to America. You know what I mean? That's all it is, man. So I want to give all praise and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who will well. Salutations to the Akim and the Four Winds, preaching the truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. To you sisters, you Akwafim, who listen and learn under your husband or your spiritual leader and come back to the fold in silence and death to America.